This is Stone Soup by Jess Duckham. It is a toy book because it has lots of little flip-ups on each page. And it also comes with a CD that you can read along with the CD. This book is really fun because, like I said, it contains lots of pop-ups so children can say, oh, what's under this flap? And you can look and open it up and see. And this also is a very good book to work with social development because in the story, this traveler comes into the town, and at first, everyone in town tells him to go away. They don't have food for him. They don't have a place for him to stay because they barely have enough to feed themselves. Well, he decides he's going to stay anyway, and he's like, I can make soup for you guys. I can make stone soup. So he gets everything out, and he starts putting it up, and he brings out stone. And they're just like, what's so special about this stone? It looks like an ordinary stone. And he goes on to tell them, well, with this stone, we can make the best soup you've ever had. And he's like, it's no ordinary stone, and continues on. And after they have the water boiling, he drops it into the water. And the cook tastes it, and he's like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, but it can use some salt. Does anyone have any salt? And after a little bit of thinking, one of the characters is like, oh, I think I have some salt. And so he runs quickly home to see. After putting the salt in, the cook was like, oh yeah, this is much better. And what about and then asked if anyone had parsley. And so it goes through all this, and you can look, and it shows the different characters going home and getting some ingredient for the food. And again, it then goes around, and one of the characters brings in carrots, because they have a lot of carrots in their house. And so it goes through until every single character in the book has brought in some type of food to add to the stew. And then it gets down to the very end where they're still missing one ingredient. And the only person that hasn't given anything is the old turtle. So finally, after being asked and no one's willing, he goes and brings back the biggest onion, and it is added into the stew. And afterwards, all the characters in the story then eat it together, and then afterwards they bring out instruments and they dance and have a really good time after they eat the food. So the next day, as the wanderers are getting ready to leave, they give the stone to the village, saying that they can keep it. But in order for them to use it, they all have to come together and bring something to put into the stew. And then at the very last page, as we find out as he's leaving out of town, he reaches down and picks up an old stone off of the road, saying, just in case. And we find out, really there was something special about that stone. It was that everyone worked together to make that something really great. And even though at first they said they had no food, they were able to make that stew together because they shared, and they each brought something to put into that stew. So it's a really good concept to teach children that sometimes working together is better than trying to do it on your own, and can really overall be helpful and can really bring people together when you do something together. So, yeah, this is Stone Soup.